And I can talk on the cross-selling of the small business plan in this arena.
Okay. All right, good. So we'll put that in the kind of in the agenda so people kind of know. And then again, once you get to that area of this training on the YouTube video, it'll be timestamped. And that way you can tell people where to go, even if they call you saying, hey, I'm looking for what you talked about. You'll be able to let them know how to get there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's how I want to be led. I think it'll do better if it's that way, as opposed to it just being this long 2-hour training and people don't really know exactly what they're gonna get. So no, that's good stuff. That's good. All right, good stuff. All right, so we got everybody in. So people were starting to leave, so we had to get them in because they were starting to get impatient there. Sorry about that, guys. We were kind of discussing some stuff in the background over here. We appreciate y'all's patience.
Robert, next week, the call is going to start at 7:00 Central Time.
Yes, 7:00 to 9:00 Central Time. So keep that in mind, guys. And of course, we're going to discuss that here on this call, as well as talk about this weekend's training, CDLP certification as well. Because this is I think this is the first time it's been able to meet that way. And I guess it's because we're doing the online trainings like this. So this is going to be a great opportunity for people to go take the CDLP certification Saturday with Alan and Chris, and then turn right around Monday and get our 2-hour prospecting trucking companies using SAFER training. So they'll be able to get those two kind of right in collaboration. Good stuff. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. We're going to get started with our introductions and everything, and then we're going to go into talking about what some things we're going to be going over next week, and some other important things. Then we may have some time for some Q&A, guys. So on Q&A, a couple things. One, you can raise your hand if you know you're going to have a question, or if a question pops in your head while we're talking, raise your hand, and then we'll be able to call on you. Or you can also go in the chat and put your question. And a lot of times one of the trainers will go in the chats, and then we'll kind of answer those questions as we go along. But we're going to talk about a couple of things first before we do that. And because we're updating you guys on some things that's happening with training, it's still going to be a good way to take notes, because every conversation we have is going to go into a little bit of a kind of training deal. So just keep that in mind as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Sharanda to start with introductions. Then you can pass it along, and then we'll get moving into some actual information. So Sharanda, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dunbar. My name is Sharanda Ivy. For those that don't know, I'm based here in Georgia. I'm the state trainer for CDLP for Georgia. Been in Legal Shield now. This will be my 8th year in the business. Work the entire business, as they say, don't leave any money on the table. But I found my niche here in CDLP, focusing on that here the last few years. Just enjoy this space, just enjoy helping others. And, just working with the associates, helping them to learn what I've learned, the importance of protecting these drivers and these companies. Named the #1 field trainer in Legal Shield 2019, earned the Ladies of Justice Award. We've personally written over 1,000 memberships and protected families with that. Special forces on the small biz side as well. And like I said, just love this space. We're Business Solutions Sapphire Associate, and mainly work our business. My major is business solutions. And so as a field trainer, definitely if I can help in solutions or CDLP, I definitely prefer CDLP, but I am a business solutions trainer as well. And if I can help anyone, because the great thing about this, guys, as field trainers, we can work with you no matter where you are. So just let you know that. And so with that, just thank you for being on the call tonight. This is a great platform. We haven't always had this, so definitely be thankful that Mr. Dunbar and all the trainers before me have created this space. So I also host an accountability call on Thursday nights. It's for those individuals that are moving in the space. It's more of a mastermind call. Those associates are really doing some phenomenal things, having some great activity by continuing to be consistent to plug in and just mastermind together. So that information is under announcements for those that would like to start to be accountable as well. So with that, I pass it over to Randy Hooker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I really enjoy getting the chance to be on the call and help anyone I can. I am a field trainer, and the 2019 I started with CDL. I've been doing the business for a little over 12 years, and I've worked all areas of it. Was very heavy in small business for a good while, and then in January 19 we took on really focusing on CDL because of the ability to do help the truckers and keep things moving for them, which has been one of my passions for a long time. And we were able to earn the $50,000 ring in about 11 months. So it is possible to do. I love working the space. We have written over 1,000 personal apps, and so if I can help anyone, don't hesitate to give a holler for sure, and I'll help anybody I can. I'll pass it over to John, and then you can go to Lamar, John.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm John Hoffman. I'm the state trainer for California and also a field trainer in all business solutions and CDLP. Looking forward always to working with associates that are eager to learn the CDLP business. I've been in this business for my 14th year. First 7 years were part-time, and the last 7 years were full-time, and I'm paid as earned, and just building up that residual income, and looking forward to building that up, and so we can retire and maybe another 10 years and turn the business over to the other people that I train. All right, turn it over to you, Lamar.
Thank you, Mr. John. It's an honor to be on the call here tonight. And I'm Lamar Reynolds out of Houston, Texas. And in June of this year, it will be 15 years. Wow, time goes by in a hurry. And I've been selling the CDLP membership for almost 12 years now. And I've been a CDLP trainer for about 10 and a half years. And I just get up each day selling the CDLP memberships and transportation, end up selling the full range of products that we have out there, but I do it in transportation, and I just love selling transportation. I've been able to get my 50,000 K ring and also the 100,000 K ring by selling CDLP. And ladies and gentlemen, you can accomplish this by selling and leading off with the CDLP memberships and selling the bundle plans and ID Shield and all the other different products. I've been able to sell over 5,000 memberships. I guess I'm on my way to 6,000 now, but I've sold 5,000 for sure. Part of the Special Forces and the Solution Emerald Elites. And it's just an honor to be on the call and to share information. And I'm just so proud of everybody that plugs in on Monday night, looking for those nuggets that will change their life out there as you're making the calls in transportation. So it's just a great honor to be on this call here tonight. And Robert, I'll turn it back over to you, sir.
All right, brother, appreciate you. And I'm Robert Dunbar. I have been with Legal Shield for 11 years, training for 6 years, CDL training for going on 3 years. I am also a team builder. I'm a 100K ring earner. I've got 250K ring earners on my team. And I do like to work with every side of Legal Shield, meaning insurance brokers, CDLP group, and even the networking side. So great company, great being a part of it. Love training you guys, love helping you guys. So we hope you guys get a lot out of tonight. And of course, this weekend, we've got the CDLP training certification. So just make sure that you guys are all plugged into that. If you're serious about CDLP, I know some of you guys saying, I may have taken it last month. If you took it last month, I get it. I'm talking about the people who need a refresher. If you need a refresher, you want to hear from Alan Roman and Chris Seelig this weekend. Alan Roman is the #1 CDLP producer for the company. And of course, Christine Seelig, 50K ring earner. I work directly with Miss Melissa Wilder. So they are going to be doing a training this weekend. And I believe it's the first time that it's fallen in order like this, where there's a certification training and then 2 days later, our 2-hour training that we do annually. So it's going to be a good dose for you guys that need a refresher. If you don't need a refresher and you're just going to be on ours on Monday, we're excited about that one too. So on that Saturday training, remember you need to get registered for that training by Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time. If you're not registered by Friday, 3 p.m. Central Time, you won't be able to register because Legal Shield closes that registration and the associates can't control that. That's something that corporate does. So go ahead and get yourself registered there. You can do that through LS Engage, or you can go directly to the Facebook page, and it's got to be linked there somewhere. Either Chris has put it there, or Sharanda or myself has put that training there somewhere. If you can't find it there, just go to LS Engage, go to Business Training Registration, and click there. Go to the search bar and put in 404. And that'll pull up the CDLP trainer. So CDLP training is always 404. So make sure you get certified. If you're not certified, make sure you get a refresher if you have not taken it lately. So for those who have missed any of these trainings that we've done, we started Zoom September 7th of last year. So before then, we had audio trainings that we were doing for about 2.5 years. So you can always go into the announcement section on the Facebook page. So if you go to the Facebook page, go to the announcement section, and click in that area, scroll down, you'll find where there's a replay of all the audio trainings up until September 7th. And it's about maybe 18 months, 2 years of trainings back there weekly. You just click on the link and it'll play for you. If you want the Zoom recordings, then you can go to the page and click on the announcement section. And there is some trainings there. It says replay. There's an image similar to the one you see in my background now, but it says CDLP sales motivation replays, and when you click on it, it'll give you the link to go to the to the YouTube channel where all of those are at. So all of those different CDLP CDLP Monday Zooms are all there on that playlist. I believe there's maybe 27, 28 of them there right now, and you can click on any of them and take a look at all of those trainings and make sure that you're refreshed. I would say start at the newest one and then go back. So start at like 29 and then start going back. Don't start at number 1 because there's going to be a lot of new information if you start back there that you're missing. So start with the new information. That's what I would suggest on that. Also, when you get to that page, please subscribe to the channel when you get to the playlist. Subscribe to the channel. And also, if you watch any of the videos, if you like the content, just like the video and give it a thumbs up. That way YouTube knows that the content that we provide in there for you all is good. And that way it pushes it out to more people who are looking for Legal Shield content, if that makes any sense. So that's what's happening with the Saturday training. So let's talk a little bit about the Monday training, guys. So on our first and second annual trainings, we went over the same typical things. We went into Safer. Lamar pulls up a couple of companies. He gives you some information on those companies, how to decipher, how the information can be used. And there's been some really good trainings. And if you guys have taken that training before, just jump in that chat box and just give us the yes or yes. Just put a thumbs up or yes, and let the other people on this Zoom know that you've taken it and it's been beneficial to you in some way, shape, or form. This year, we're going to do it a little bit differently. It's going to be a little bit more robust, a little bit more organized in the sense of knowing what's going to be coming next. So when we get the training started, I'm going to have every trainer kind of mention what they're going to be doing, talk a little bit about it so you guys will have an idea. But the structure is going to be set up where we're going to come in. And when we get started, the first person training is going to be Randy Hooker. And he's going to be going into truckdriver.com. And if one of the trainers could throw that in the chat box, that'll be great. Truckdriver.com. He's going to go in there and he's going to show you how to find companies that are in your area or that are anywhere else and how to locate their DOT number and how to look at the company on truckdriver.com before you get to Safer. Once he moves over to Safer, he's going to pass the baton over to Lamar Reynolds, who's going to go over how to put companies on Safer, what you're looking for, what you're reading, what it means to you, what it means to the safety manager, how to calculate points, all those different things. He's going to throw in a whole lot of other little sidebar things that are outside of what I'm saying. I'm just giving you guys kind of just an overview of what he's going to be going over. That way, you know how to now go to truckdriver.com, find the company that you're looking to prospect, see what's in your region, get that information, then go to Safer and know how to properly investigate these companies before you go after them, right? And then after we go into that, we're going to talk a little bit about making sure that you're not going into somebody else's company. So, how to make sure once you pull a company, it's a good prospect, is this already a Legal Shield account? So we're going to help you learn how to find that out so that you know how to do that going in. And then from there, Catherine Pouliot is going to talk a little bit about from the safety manager standpoint, because that's what she is. She's a safety manager. So she's going to talk about, as a safety manager, what you should be looking for when it comes to going into a company that would belong to her. What you should be saying to her to get her to want you to come in and talk to the drivers, and what not to say to turn her off or turn that safety manager off when you come in there trying to prospect. So you're going to get that point of view from Catherine. Sharanda Ivy is going to be talking about what it really means to offer the CDL plan to a driver, what you're doing for them and for that company when you do it, so that you're not going in there looking for just performance club points and organizational counters and all of these other, points and systems that we use in Legal Shield to create profit for ourselves, but how to go in and look at how is this actually helping the driver in the company. We want you to go in not as a salesman or saleswoman, but going in to help. And Sharanda's going to talk a little bit about that, and she's going to talk about cross-selling this new small biz plan when you get in there as well. You go in there and sell that small biz plan at $169 or $99, close on 4 or 5 members with the CDL plan, and you've got you a strong group opened up. You made you some decent commissions. You've got you some decent performance club points. So you're getting everything done all at one point. Plus, you're looking out for your prospect. So she's going to talk a little bit about that. John Hoffman, if he's on, I know John Hoffman sometimes is not on because he's traveling. If he's on, we're going to let him talk about some things in the field that he wants to discuss with us all as well, because he's out there getting it every day when it comes to CDL. So he's going to be talking about some things on that note too, if he's on the line. And then we're going to kind of be coming together and kind of I'm going to be giving you guys some sales tips on a sales point of view, some things that you can be doing as well. But my part is going to be short because really this annual training is really about prospecting trucking companies by using their safety score and using the information to get the message through to the safety manager so that you can not only open up groups, but open up groups that stay and remain on your books. Because this, especially with this new 2021 plan, guys, we are about keeping good business on the books. So you need to be looking at your persistency and seeing what's happening with your numbers. I hold an 84, 85% persistency rate. I'm normally above 82, and I've been with the company for 11 years. You've got to get really conditioned with it being important. And I know Lamar's going to talk about this as well, about persistency and about making sure that these people stay on the books, because these memberships are back end loaded. He's going to talk more about that when he does his training, about it being back end loaded and compensation being important on long term with this business, because you work in a long term business. So I've been talking long enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to each of the trainers that want to talk a little bit more about what to expect from their trainings on this upcoming Monday training. Oh yeah, real quickly, guys, get registered. This training is only gonna hold 100 seats, and then everybody else is gonna be an overflow. What does that mean? That means you can register and be there in the Zoom. If you don't register for this training and you're not in the Zoom, you're going to go to the YouTube channel and you can look at it live real time at 8:30. You can watch it all the same, but you're going to be looking at it on YouTube live, not in the Zoom. What's the difference? The difference is when you're on YouTube, the things that are being put in the chat box on Zoom, you won't see them from YouTube. So you need to be in the Zoom to see those things, to be dropping any links or anything like that. Now, we will do our best to really go in and drop it on. I'll try to drop it on YouTube live at the same time. When I'm not training, I'll try to do those things. But it's kind of better to be on the Zoom. And right now, there's already 73 of the seats taken up of 100, just so you guys know. So there's only 20-something seats left to be in the Zoom. So you might want to get yourself registered for that. And that link is kind of all over the place. And I'll also drop the link in the Zoom while these trainers are talking. So I'm going to turn it over to Randy first. And Randy, if you could turn over to Lamar, Lamar, if you could turn it over to Sharanda, and Sharanda, if you can turn it over to John Hoffman, because Catherine Pouliot is not on with us. So Randy, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. The biggest thing that I'm going to be trying to do with you guys is through the truckdriver.com. There's a couple of places that you go and set it, but once you get it set up, once you get your homepage set up to where you can go in there, you can use your zip codes, you can use towns, you can use states, and wherever you want to work, you'll be able to pull those companies there, find out all about them, and get into the safer reports. And once you get into the safer reports, then Mr. Lamar is going to teach you exactly how to use that safer report. And we don't necessarily, or I don't, one of the things I don't do, I don't necessarily pull the safer report out and show it to my prospect, my DM, but there's a lot of information that I use off of it in my presentation to him. And whenever you do that, you're basically letting him know that you know what's on that safer report, but it's the way you handle that. And Mr. Lamar is actually a master at that. And so he'll be able to take up from there and get to where you can understand what to do with it. And then whenever Kathy comes in, she'll be able to tell you, like being able to tell you what to say to her and what not to say to her. What not to say to her is more important than anything. And so therefore, knowing the ins and outs of this program, the way that this training should come off is absolutely fantastic. If you'll apply what we teach you, it is the ability to go out and open trucking companies will not be hindered from you at all. You'll be able to do it within just a short order. I will say, Robert was talking about the persistency. Guys, if you understand our compensation plan pays 5 to 25% on renewal income. That 5 to 25% is based on persistency and consistency, and it's split with 5 different levels. You get 5%, 10%, 15, 20, or 25. And out of those five different levels that you get your renewal is based on what persistency level you are. So that's the reason it's so important to keep your persistency up, and your renewal is based and locked in at whatever persistence you were when you sold that. So if it's low, it's going to always be low on that membership. That's the reason keeping it high keeps all of those memberships paying out at the maximum. Mr. Lamar, I'll turn it over to you.
Unmute this where you can hear me. Thank you, Randy. I'm excited to just kind of let you know what we're going to be talking about next week, because what I'm going to be talking about with the SAFER, for many of you that are just starting off as new associates, this is going to help you get started. Okay, that's number one. Number two, those of you that have already started to get your feet wet, so to speak, out there, you're getting your sea legs. This will help you to develop your account base and transportation. And that's really the key to this is the SAFER. And tonight, I'm just going to give you a quick testimonial. And then next week, you should log on with your legal pad and have a pen and start to really make a lot of notes for next week, because I'm actually going to walk you through a couple of DOT numbers. I'm going to show you from the standpoint of what Robert was talking about, from the standpoint of the associate, what they see and why that's important to the associate. And then I'm going to reveal to you from the standpoint of the safety director how important it relates to them. So in twofold of really what to expect. One for you is the associate, so you can really see the value of it. And number two, the the value and the benefits for the safety director that you're selling to. And so just to kind of show you the power of this program, and probably many of you on this call has heard me do this testimonial before, but it's so valid that I want to go back through it again, because these links that Mr. Randy is going to be talking about, and also to the safer, it's just so important that you have that programmed into your phone as a favorite, and also into your computer as a favorite. And I'm gonna give you an example. I had pulled up to a red light in Houston on Wallaceville and 610. And I'm sitting there at the red light, and this 18-wheeler pulls up on the right-hand side of me. And when he did, I glanced over at the truck. It was kind of a dirty truck. And I glanced over at it, looked at the DOT number, grabbed my phone, entered it into the safer, pulled it up, went into the stats, and lo and behold, I could see just in the matter of seconds the need for our program at that company. And so the light was changing. I pulled up and pulled into a little service station over there. And I do a little bit more research on the safer. There's a phone number there. It gives the name and the address and the phone number. And they had probably, that company, probably about 25 trucks. And so I look it up. I call. Well, actually, I didn't call. I got the address and programmed it in my GPS, and I just went there and showed up at the company and walked in and was able to see the safety director. Now that was about probably 10:30 in the morning. And I spent maybe 30 to 45 minutes with the safety director. I went through the safer, which I'll be showing you that next week. He saw the value of that. And as I was going through the sales literature and everything with him, he says, "Mr. Reynolds, how much would you charge to speak to our drivers?" And I said, "Well, for you and your company, I wouldn't charge anything, sir." And he said, "Well, I tell you what, I've got a safety meeting coming up at 1:00. Would you stick around and do your presentation for the drivers?" I said, "I would be happy to." And so those of you that know me, Mr. Randy knows me, I have my car. It's all set. I can go out to my car and grab brochures, sales packets, the membership kits, everything is in my car. So I go out to my car, I get all that information, come back in, and now it's 1:00, and I get on stage, I do a presentation, and lo and behold, I get probably, I don't know, I think it's probably about 10 memberships out of that group. And at that point, I got him to sign the group sheet that set it up as a group so that I could pass that discount on to the drivers. And so it was just that simple. I saw them as a prospect that morning, sold them that afternoon as a customer, and called in the memberships and set up the group that afternoon, that evening. So it's a possibility, that you could do it all in one day. And the likelihood of that happening every time is very slim, but you'll have an opportunity probably to do that one day. But you can certainly start to gather the information and stage this up to make a prospect call and a decision maker call on the group. And so that's going to be my purpose next week, is to go through this and show you the power of that program. And many associates, Mr. Randy being one, Sharanda being another one, I know those two have used this program a lot. I know John Hoffman is using it. I know AJ is using it. And there's quite a few others on this call have used it. And it's a very powerful approach to the business. And if you use it the right way, use the script the right way, it will open doors for you. And you can start to enjoy that business at that transportation account. So that is my purpose next week. You don't want to miss it. And that 2 hours is going to go very fast. I mean, once we start to get into the numbers and start looking at live situations, it's going to go really fast. So before you know it, that 2 hours will be gone. But if you're making notes, you can capture all of this information and use it over and over. So with that said, I'm gonna turn it over to John. Did you have something that you wanted to talk about?
Sharanda first.
Oh, Sharanda. Okay, Miss Sharanda, if you'll unmute, I'll turn it over to you. But while she's unmuting, I'll just say over the past 12 years, 11 years, I've been using the Safer that long. And during that period of time, I saw the value of the decision maker script. And we want to make sure everybody that's on this call, if you're on this call for the first time, make sure you go into the Facebook and print off the decision maker script. Okay. And you'll find that in the files. And if you can't find it, Mr. Robert will help you locate that. But it would be good that each of you find that, read it, and understand it. Okay. And then as we go into the training next week, that will be staged up of using the information once we go through the Safer training, what Mr. Randy is going to be talking about, of actually reaching out and grabbing the DOT numbers and how you will kind of qualify that. And then I will be actually digging into the Safer and the DOT number and what that really means to you as an associate and a safety director. So that's going to be the purpose of it next week. But make sure you got that script. You're going to need that script. And I'm going to tie that in a little bit with a transportation clipboard next week. That could be another Monday night training on its own, but that is very important for you to understand that. So you need the script, you need the transportation clipboard. So if you don't have it tonight, start working on it. You're going to need it. So Sharanda, if you're ready, you can take it over now.
Lamar, Sharanda will be right in momentarily.
Okay.
She fell out. I gotta put her back in.
Okay. So John, do you have something that you want to talk about that you'll speak on next week?
Yeah, I'll talk about my little brand of prospecting and how I use this other tools that haven't been probably disclosed yet, but I also have a follow-up procedure that I use too. So I might check a company once and see what their score is.
Okay.
But I might check them back with them maybe a month later or 2 months later, and I'll see what their scores are, how they're trending. And if they start trending up, that's a reason for me to establish a relationship with that company and to start going in and keep it, just bringing something of value to them all the time I go in. You want to bring them something of value, and eventually the timing will be right. And so I just want to show how I keep in touch with companies and how I grab DOT numbers. I have a digital recorder that I travel with. I don't use my phone because I don't want to get a ticket by having a phone in my hand. But I use a digital recorder, and I will transfer it into an Excel spreadsheet, and you'd be surprised the amount of leads you'll be able to come up with. And a lot of them you're going to find out are home-based businesses. I might have 2 or 3 truckers, but a lot of them are these larger companies that you want to go after. But then everybody that has a DOT number needs our membership. And of course, Serena's going to talk about the business plans. And when I saw the new business plans, my eyes lit up immediately because they are really geared towards our trucking transportation businesses, especially when they go out of state.
Yeah. And what John is talking about is kind of like the old school. Like I started off, we would pull the DOT numbers. John has got a recorder. And I did that on my phone, and also had a legal pad in my car where I wrote down the DOT numbers. And that's the way that I started off. But what Randy is going to be revealing to you folks next week is more of a local approach, you might say. Within a few miles of where you live, within 50 miles, within 100 miles. And so he's going to show you the value of that. John and I, the way we were starting off, I mean, we were just spotting that truck going down the road, writing down the DOT number. And we might know of that company, might not know. But there where it says USDOT, if it says USDOT, Houston, Texas. Now, I wanted to make sure I got that DOT number. Now, if it said US DOT Los Angeles, now that's where Mr. John would get that one. He would be very interested in that one because we know there's at least one terminal in LA, okay, or in Houston, Texas. Okay, so I don't want to be pulling DOT numbers that I know that have no value to me. So looking at that at that door on the truck, and there it says US DOT number, whatever your state or your city that you're in, if it relates to that you should write down. Or Mr. Randy's going to be showing you another approach that I think is really slick. And I wish I would have had this approach when I first started off within 50 miles of my house. So you don't want to be the star salesman where you start off and you go way up here and then you're back across. I mean, you're all over the big city or the state that you're living in. You want to cluster your customers if you can. And that's what Mr. Randy is going to show you the value of that. And then once you have those numbers, then I'm going to try my best to show you the value of actually digging into that information and qualifying it from a suspect to a prospect, okay? And turning that prospect into a customer. And so that's going to be our approach next week. And I think it's going to be very exciting. Did Sharanda rejoin us?
Yes, Lamar, she's back
Okay.
in now.
I see you there now, Sharanda. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Sharanda, and let you talk about what you're going to be talking about next week. Sharanda?
Appreciate it. I used to do that, Lamar. I used to get DOT numbers, and I found the people were in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and Iowa. And I thought, oh, that's terrible. I gotta find a better way. So what you teach is very helpful, and what Randy's gonna teach is very helpful for people that especially want to work in their local state and area. So, but I'm gonna train and talk about a little bit about not really just reminding people. I think we get we think about the legal plan and how we prospect with the legal plan, but CDL is so much different, guys. When you realize that when we can offer this product to them, it helps secure them earning a living, feeding their families, paying their bills. I know when we go into groups, it helps the company keep, their drivers employable and insurable. And I think because you got to think about it, the legal plan, if somebody doesn't get your legal plan, it's okay. They'll go to work tomorrow, do what they have to do. Life will go on, but whether they get your plan or not. But if we offer this to a commercial driver and they truly have problems, whether they get pulled over with DOT, and we never know when that's going to happen. But we know that it's a higher chance that a commercial driver will need our legal plan quicker than an individual will use their legal plan. I mean, I've had my legal plan for 8 years. I use it because I have it. But it's a lot of, but if I didn't use it, things like, I still could feed my family. The things I've used it for want to make me lose me working, my bills to still get paid and things like that. So we have to really think about the value that we bring to the commercial industry with this plan that we have. And I think when you realize the value we bring with this plan and really stop being afraid of counting their money, realizing that we are the lowest offering that they have to pay out, especially if they're the owner, right? I mean, even if we sold them a suite of products from the business plan to the CDL plan to the legal plan, if we sold them a whole package, we still would be the lowest offering that or service that they would have to pay. Tires, fuel, insurance, things like that cost them thousands of dollars, and we're below 200. To really protect their CDLs, it's just $30. We can't be afraid to ask for those $30. Definitely not those $30, but we should have the courage to ask for at least $160, $170. And you may not do it all at once, but eventually get the courage, because what we do for them, guys, helps them to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, And so just think about that when you talk to a commercial driver. He makes enough money to pay for your $30 plan or your $50 plan, or protect this whole business and maybe $160, $170. You think of the offering. He can afford it. Just remember that. And I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about how to cross-sell with the small business plan. And you'll be surprised at when you learn how we can help with the small business plan and the protection that we give them. You'll sell more small business plans too. And then you'll sell more CDLP plans as well. So just some note to think about. So I hope everybody show up next week, because I think it'll be phenomenal after after the weekend, and then for that 2-hour training. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Dunbar.
Before Robert grabs it and runs with it, what each of us is trying to share is how to open that group. And so once you go through this training next week, and you go through the safer information that I'm going to go through and explain, and what you're wanting to do is open that group, and you turn to the safety director, and the safety director says, Mr. Reynolds, we just got through having a meeting, and it's going to be 3 months before we have another safety meeting. Well, I don't want you to be discouraged. And so I'm going to give you a big nugget tonight. Okay? Don't be discouraged and walk out that door and say, okay, I'm going to call you in 2.5 months and see what the date is going to be so that I can get on stage and do a presentation. I'm going to share with you tonight how to open a group without doing a group presentation. And I've done quite a few groups this way. And I'm thinking of a particular company, Top Logistics here in Houston. And I went in and did my decision maker meeting. Safety director, man, he's on board. He's ready to go. Hey, Oscar, when is your next safety meeting? And he says, Mr. Reynolds, we just did one last week, and it's going to be another 2 months, 3 months. I do a safety meeting once every quarter. And I said, Oscar, this is a Friday afternoon. Well, actually, it was Friday morning when I was in there. And I said, Oscar, do you mind if this afternoon, Friday afternoon, that I just stick around, because drivers are going to be coming in turning in paperwork and picking up checks. And I see you have a desk right there in the hall. Can I just sit there and meet a few of your drivers and tell them about my program? I don't see why not. So I sat there, ladies and gentlemen, and I sold 5 memberships that afternoon. AJ would be proud of me. I sold 5 memberships that afternoon, and I was able to, I see Jody smiling there. I was able to walk back into Oscar's office and get him to sign the group sheet. And I opened a group that afternoon without doing a group presentation. And I have probably through the years, I've probably done 10 companies that way. So don't be discouraged when you learn all this valuable information and you're eager to talk about it and create interest and then turn around defeated and walk out. You don't want to do that. Okay? So Friday afternoon is a great time to sell a new account and to get those memberships to open that group. So I just wanted to share that. Hopefully everybody made some notes on that as I was talking about it. But that is a slick little way to open group presentations, to open a group without doing a group presentation. And when I first talk about that to people, it kind of blows their mind, you know, is it, how are you going to open a group without doing a group presentation? Well, that's how you do it. And I've done quite a few. So, Mr. Robert, if you're ready to take the baton, I think we're ready to toss it over to you.
All right, good stuff, brother. So I want to check and see if we have any questions about anything before we go. This 9:19. See if anybody has any questions about anything we've talked about. So if you got a question, you can raise your hand. You can also put it in the chat.
Hey, Dunbar,
Yeah.
like Lamar just gave that tip. I wanted to give a tip.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
About a lot of these drivers that I've noticed on that I've written over, over the years. Like I talked to one today, and he called just to say, "Hey, I'm not with the company anymore. I just wanted to let you know I got my authority about 6 months ago." And, my thing was, well, you don't have to cancel your plan because it's coming right out of your account. You're still a CDL driver. That's exactly what I said to him. He told me, no, Miss Rand, I ain't gonna cancel. I just wanted to let you know I had got my own truck. So, but he wasn't the first person that has called back to say that. So, just remember, guys, when we have our active members, or even maybe you lost them in a payroll account some kind of way, follow back up with them, because a lot of people are attracted to getting their own authority, and so whether they're with that company or not, they may have started their own company. So you just never know. And I always say truckers like to refer each other. They're in a clique. They have their relationships. They trust certain people. So just ask for referrals, because they would definitely know somebody that, they can refer to you. But just remember, a lot of those guys want to start their own companies eventually. And that guy that called today, he got our business plan. He had my ID Shield. He had my CDLP and family plan already. And today he got the 114 plan, which is the one with the 99 and the $14.95. So that's a group. That's a qualifying group now, and a new small biz plan. So those are the things that people need to think about as well. So I just wanted to drop that, Dunbar. Back over to you.
Nope, that's good. Nope, that's good. Good tips, guys. Appreciate that. Adding value. People are going in the comment boxes saying that they glad that they got the information. So that's good. So let's see. Does anybody know of any questions? So Lamar did a 2-minute. So Lamar only did a 2-minute presentation with the driver. Is that correct, Lamar? That was a question that came in. Nancy Wolf.
Yes, if you're referring to opening that group, I would, as the drivers were coming in, I would do my 1-minute presentation and talk to the drivers. And I would sell that membership. I don't know how many drivers I talked to that afternoon. So 5 memberships, I probably talked to 15 or 20 that came in that day, that afternoon, and ended up selling. Back then, you had to have, Robert, you had to have 5 memberships to open a group. And so I told the drivers that I would like to get their membership. And I said, hopefully I'll be able to process your membership today. But just in case, I said, I will get back with you and let you know. If it's not going to be today, I'll let you know when. And so I would do my little 1-minute presentation to the drivers and ended up getting 5. So I was able to put that same day on the application. But that's the way I sold them. And it was selling my 1-minute presentation as the drivers were coming in. And so it's been a while since I've done that 1-minute presentation, but I believe I can do it again tonight. And, I'm just here to talk to you about protecting your CDL, which is the most important thing you have. And you need to do everything you can to protect it. And that's what my little program does. And it will take the DOT tickets and moving violations and fighting that in court to protect your CDL. It will cover you in the personal vehicle, and it will cover your spouse in any vehicle he or she may drive. And it will cover you in any state you go to. And providing it's not an accident, most of the time we can represent you in that court without you being there. And here is the application. And I would just hand them the application. Here's the application that you need to fill out. You start right here with your name and address. And I just kind of go through the application a little bit. And it was just that quick. I mean, if everything was perfect and they wanted to buy just that 1 little minute presentation, and I had another membership. So that's the way I sold those that afternoon, is doing a 1-minute presentation. I believe Mr. Robert has got that one also. So you want the decision maker script, that's 1. And 2, I believe the 1-minute presentation, we have that in Facebook as well. So there's a lot of great stuff there, but sometimes you need to hear these little testimonials of how we used this information. So there you go. You can actually open a group without doing a group presentation by using the 1-minute presentation. Now that's for the driver. The decision maker script, that's for when you're selling the safety director. Okay. So there you go. There's 2 big nuggets for you. One if you're selling the driver, and 1 if you're selling the safety director. So Mr. Robert, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good stuff. Good information. So do we have any questions? No,
There's
no questions.
No questions in the chat at this time, Mr. Dunbar.
Okay, no question in the chat and no hands up, right?
That's correct.
All right, good stuff. All right, so do any of your trainers have anything they want to mention before we close out?
Although I see Connie Castanella, microphone is unmuted.
Oh, Connie? Go ahead, Connie.
Yes. No, I don't. Is my hand up? I didn't mean to put it up.
Oh, no, your mic was open, so they thought you were trying to talk.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. All right, any trainers have anything that they want to mention before we close out? Going once?
Hey, Mr. Dunbar.
Yes.
Don't leave yet. I heard Mr. Reynolds was saying, I know you're kind of late, that you have 1 script for the driver and 1 for the safety director, and I missed that. I was eating, I missed that.
Yeah.
So now you know not to eat during this call. How about that? Go ahead, Lamar.
So the decision maker script, which we have posted in the Facebook, that's for the safety director when you're selling the decision maker. Okay. And the 1-minute presentation that I just quoted just a few minutes ago, if you missed that, that is also in the Facebook, the 1 minute presentation. That is for the driver. So you have a script for the driver and a script for the safety director.
Okay.
Okay. And
All right.
so once you have that, along with what we're going to give you next week with going into the safer, the way Mr. Randy searches the DOT numbers, he's going to show you a new system. Many of you saw that about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we're going to go back through that with you again. And then the way I go through the safer, then you'll find an opportunity to use the decision maker script. And then in the driver's lounge, I use the 1 minute presentation all the time. And I bet AJ does too. If he's in and around that terminal, and it's not like you have 15 minutes to do a presentation to a driver. You want to condense that down, right, AJ, into just a 1 minute little presentation. And you just want to pick out all of the key benefits of our program, that it'll cover you on DOT tickets and moving violations, okay? That's in the commercial vehicle. And it will cover you in the personal vehicle. That's 2, okay? It will cover your spouse and any vehicle she or he may drive. That's 3. And we can cover you in any state you go to, and providing it's not an accident, we can represent you in that court without you having to be there. So, I mean, if you can just remember just that simple, okay? Just going through that, you're going to hit a raw nerve, so to speak, or a nerve of interest, I might say it that way, where a driver got all messed up with some points on his record because he was driving his personal car on the weekend, okay? There you can help him. Or if he's plagued with a DOT, roadside inspection, or scale house ticket, we can help him there. Or if he's concerned about maybe his wife getting a stop sign ticket or speeding ticket, okay, we can help him there. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we're able to take that ticket and keep it off of her MVR, that's going to help them on their home auto insurance. Okay, and if that insurance goes up, it's going to go up a lot more than $29.95. Okay, and so as you go through, I mean, those are just simple benefit points of our program. And if you just learn that, just put it in your own words. I'm here to talk to you about protecting your CDL, which is the most important thing you have. And then just go through those 4 bullet points. You will sell memberships, and then have the brochure and have the application, as Mr. Randy does all the time. I mean, he's got that all put together. And I think, Randy, you put yours in a folder, right?
Yeah, we put them in actually a little envelope, one of the manila envelopes, so they can close it and keep it with them.
And see, now his style works really well. I just put mine with a paper clip with my business card on it, with the little red truck brochure, the CDL brochure, and I got a little cover sheet with the application in it. And then I've got the legal plan with the 101 ways to use that. And then I've got the 2 membership perks sheet, okay? The one with all the logos on it. And I think Mr. Randy came up with that one with the, on an average, our drivers save $49 a month, okay? That one, and the Legal Shield perk sheet. And I put all of that together with a paper clip with my business card on it. All right. And that's what I hand out in a presentation. So you need to find, the system that you like to work in and have that ready. So I hope I answered the question. I kind of chased around a little bit, but that's a 1 minute presentation and the decision maker. Randy?
AJ was asking, what is the better days to prospect trucking company? The ones that you can get them to answer the phone and talk to you.
Absolutely. Exactly.
That's the best day. That's the best day to prospect.
People always ask, what's the best time to call too? you got to figure out your own method. You got to think your client is your client, and a whole lot of things go into that. So, what works for Lamar or, Dunbar or Randy, their client is different than your client. So their client might answer the phone at a certain time, but your client may not. So you got to find your own lane and see what time works for best you and your clients.
And see, for me, you won't hear me calling a lot of trucking companies. I'll be walking in. I mean, that's the way I do mine. Okay. There's nothing wrong if you want to call. I mean, you can do it that way. But for me personally, I like to walk through that door and walk to the gatekeeper and back to the safety director. And my approach is very effective in getting back there. And Mr. Randy has seen that a couple of times. He's come to Houston and we went out and made a call. But that's the way I love to walk into that safety director's office, or he comes and gets me and takes me back to his office. That's where I love to just interface with that person and sell them. I just feel so comfortable doing that. That's in my comfort lane that Sharanda is talking about. And you need to find your comfort lane. Is that walking in cold turkey? Or is that making a phone call and getting the appointment? Whatever it is, you need to figure it out what you feel comfortable doing. For me personally, it's walking in, just unannounced. That's the way I like to do it. Now, tomorrow morning, I'm going to, actually at 1 o'clock, I'm going to a prospect that I called. I've been trying, this is a new vice president of safety that I've been trying to catch in this new account for, actually it's a new prospect for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. And now she actually agreed, and she actually called me back today and changed it from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So I love it when a prospect does that. So that makes sure that they're committed to be there. She wants to make sure that she's there. And so we agreed at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to use my transportation clipboard. And those things that we've talked about here tonight, that's what I'm going to use tomorrow. And I feel really comfortable walking in there and doing that. That's the way I love to prospect. Mr. Robert or Mr. Randy, you got something, Randy?
We're getting close to time, so.
I have a real quick question.
Yep. All right, Miss Connie.
I don't want to just go out walking. I have a bum leg and I'm using reference right now and I have a reference USA, but what heading or what type of trucking am I looking for under? Have any of you used reference USA? Because when you bring down trucking, there's all kinds of subheadings and.
Connie, be on next Monday night and I'll show you a much, much, much simpler way to do what you're wanting to do.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good answer, Randy. That is a great answer. Yeah, if you can just hold on a week, Miss Connie, you won't have any.
Yeah, a whole week. Come on, guys.
Yep.
It's called a hook.
All right, Mr. Robert.
Connie, you can always go back to the first year and second year training as well. Find some DLT numbers from somewhere and look them up until next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. All right, so good stuff. So guys, remember this Saturday, we've got CDLP certification training with Alan Roman and Miss Chris Seelig happening. So make sure you get involved in that. Registration ends on Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time. That training, I don't know the cost. I believe it's $49, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure what the cost of that is. Our training on Monday is free. So just understand that. There's no cost to this training. So if you were trying not to register because you thought it was going to be a cost, it's not one. So go ahead and get registered. It's free. We do it free every year. So get plugged into that training. I put the link already in the chat.
Is there a CDLP breakout at conference?
I do not know.
Okay.
Check the agenda, Connie. Everything's listed on the agenda that they emailed out on yesterday.
Yeah, they have a business
I-
solution once that's not on the agenda that just came out today.
Okay, they'll update it.
Okay.
Thank you
Yeah,
for that.
but yeah, now, I'm not sure about CDLP for the convention yet. And if it is one, I'm sure they know by now. So Chris and Alan may be the ones doing that because it's online, so it'll probably be with the same trainers. So we can get that put and checked out, and you can also check the agenda like what Sharon was saying. So make sure you get plugged in to that training. Make sure you get plugged into our training on Monday. Remember, replays for the audio are in announcements on Facebook page. Replays for the Zooms like you're seeing right now. The replays are on the YouTube playlist. That link is on the page as well. So click there and go there. Remember, subscribe to the channel, like the videos that you look at if you like them, so that we can get some play on those videos. So guys, that's what we got going on. That's it until next week. So next week, remember 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., not 8:30 to 9:30, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And yes, Gwen, I heard that question, Gwen, you had in the chat. I saw it, the question you had in the chat. And your question was, to be ready, do you need your DM script, your transportation clipboard, and your 1-minute script? Absolutely. Have those things ready, pull them off the file section of the Facebook page, and have those things in hand. We will try to pull them up on the Zoom as well so that you can see them on the Zoom while we go over those things, but just make sure you have some handy so you can write on them, take notes, and things of that nature. Go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you said the deadline to register was Friday, but I was just looking on the training page and it said it was Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Thursday at 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure.
Is the training Friday or Saturday this week?
20th.
But the deadline to register was saying Thursday. You said it was Friday.
Oh, so it's normally a day before. Anybody know why? Is that a misprint or
Where he did that at?
I went back to calendar and then clicked on register for the 20th. And then when I clicked on register, I went to another page to pay for it or whatever. And then it showed where it said Thursday at 3 o'clock would be the deadline.
We'll check. We'll confirm with training tomorrow, and I'll post that tomorrow when I confirm with training.
Alrighty.
Yep, absolutely. Good catch, Kurt. Because it's normally only a day before, so I'm glad you saw that, so we can check on that. Absolutely.
All right, thank you. No problem.
Yep. Good stuff. So, guys, next week we look forward to seeing you guys. Remember, 8 to 10 Eastern. Yes, that's Eastern time, guys. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. I know Darnell Self does a training at 9:30. So if you need to jump off hours and get on Darnell Self's live at 9:30, it'll be recorded. So you can come back and listen to this whenever. So we will be recording it and we'll be live on Facebook. So you guys have a fantastic evening. Thank you guys for joining us once again. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. And we look forward to training you guys on next week. Monday from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern time. You guys have a great evening.
Appreciate you, leaders. Appreciate your platform.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate everyone.
See you next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dunbar.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Dunbar, call me.
Okay.
Thank you.